Aloha all. So, I want to make a video to talk about, I guess, my personal experiences of the energy right now and a little bit about what we're going through as those of us who have chosen to move through the ascension process consciously, the different levels of challenge that we'll go through, the different levels of embodiment that life will ask us to move through, that our higher self will ask us to move through. And I sit here speaking to you today, having moved my entire life to Bali 1 week ago. Today is basically my 1 week anniversary of arriving here. And it's so interesting because I've done this before where I literally give away everything and leave everyone that I know and essentially start all over. And it really builds your inner reserves to do that. It builds your ability to navigate change, to surrender that which you've been holding on to. If there's any attachment or codependency in your life, it really dissolves those kind of boundaries or those conditionings. And it's not easy. It's challenging, but I can say, because I've done it numerous times now, that it absolutely gets easier and you develop this deep, like, reservoir of trust in your own inner strength. There, something shifts in that you know that you always have your back. You know that you've always got yourself. It's like you have cultivated an inner strength that no matter what happens, you know that you will be able to navigate it with grace. And there's also this beautiful kind of journey or adventure that you get to go down. You get to really embrace the journey and the not knowing what the destination is. And it really brings home the beauty of the journey rather than trying to reach a specific destination. And that in itself is a huge teaching for all of us. So many people are aspiring and like forcing their way to like kind of get to the end, to get somewhere, to achieve something, to find this kind of end point where they can feel validated and successful by the outer world. And when we shift the things in our life into this unknown space, it's like we get to invite in this artfulness of life, this beauty where everything is new again. And it nurtures the heart and the soul so much to see things as brand new. We get so accustomed to our habits that we often can't see the magic in the mundane. And that shifting of our outer environment, it's almost like it makes magic palpable again. And you don't have to move to achieve this. There's, in any given moment, you can give yourself the immense presence to look upon your outer world and see it all as if you're seeing it for the first time. And it's such a beautiful and potent practice to see things as if you're seeing them for the first time, to truly receive and be in gratitude of your surroundings, because you get to see how you've manifested your reality. And if you can cultivate like this overwhelming sense of gratitude, you begin to kind of become the master of the reality that you choose to put yourself in. And this, I would say the past 2 months, I've been deep in kind of the surrender and the letting go process, and in kind of calling in what my soul's divine purpose is it is, and deeply listening to that, it led me down a path that I couldn't have foreseen. That leaving Hawaii was, which was my home and kind of my safe place, that was going to propel me into something so new. And I had to come to terms with the surroundings that I was in, my home, my friend group, um, what I was building there. It wasn't quite in alignment with what I truly knew in my heart that I wanted to cultivate as a bigger vision, to be amidst a place where I could fully expand into my authenticity and allow myself to become that expansive state that I could then bring in and build the vision that was in my heart and soul. It felt almost as if the environment that I was in was contracted, like there wasn't room for me to open my arms and stretch out. Something that happens, I think, when we're around the same people, the same places, it's like people, um, they see us in a certain way. And when people see you in a certain way, particularly people who you've known for a long time, right? Friends and family, even coworkers that you've known for a long time, they tend to always meet you and see you with the eyes of who you've been previously. It kind of energetically like boxes you in. And it's as if they can't see you as any more than what they've known previously. And so when you're in their physical presence, it can feel very contracting. Like you can't stretch out, you can't be different, you can't be new. I try whenever I'm among people that I've known for a long time to can I see them with new eyes? Can I imagine that to know them is an endless journey that's always unfolding, and who they were yesterday, last week, last year is not who they are today? Can I see them with the eyes that allow them to continue to elevate upward into new and more expanded versions of themselves? And so that's also what I crave in my relationships. It's like, how can we move and evolve together? How can we expand and stretch together? And for that to happen, it takes immense amount of presence, of emotional clarity, emotional maturity, the willingness to see when things aren't working and want to dive into the places that might be a little bit sticky and hard to talk about, where we can actually grow together because we're choosing to dive into our own shadows and where we hold ourselves back. And we're also open to the reflection of another who maybe is seeing something that we still have a blind spot to. And can we open up? I mean, to me, that's true intimacy. Can we open up and allow somebody to see all parts of us and also reflect to us where we may have a blind spot? Can I fully show up in my relationships with complete authenticity and know there's acceptance in that authenticity? Can I have boundaries and know that those boundaries are honored and respected? Because if the answer is no to those questions, then those relationships have they're past their expiration date. And that can sound really, it can sound like a little harsh. And what my heart is leading me to is actually that the most open-hearted, compassionate thing that I can do in love and service to all is to not entertain those lower frequencies that we have all played in unconsciously for too long. So if I'm adding to that energy of playing in this lower version of self where I can't uplift the space with the people I'm surrounded by, then I actually need to remove myself. Otherwise, I'm continuing to feed and fuel those old energies, those old thought patterns, those old ways of being. So if I actually can remove myself and cultivate a deeper intimacy, I am able then to, in a sense, get out of my own way and magnetize in the beings and people and places that are now in a magnetic resonance, which is where I am emanating from within to the outer world, that then magnetizes in something that is more of a match to what I am wanting to experience, to be, and to feed with my energy. So all of this to say, it's really important right now to recognize the precision with which we are pointing our energy towards, right? There's a part of this experience where we're calling back all of the energy that's been siphoned from us, things that we've fed that we no longer wish to feed, old agendas, old relationships, old thought patterns, old beliefs. It's like when we choose to collapse those, it's like, in other words, like collapsing those timelines of beliefs and patterns. What happens is it's almost like as it collapses, that energy then returns back to its point of origin, which is your higher self that you are now embodying more of, and you elevate yourself to a higher vibrational state, which then begins to shift your outer reality. And you begin to see now what you want to feed with your energy. So, your greatest currency is where you place your energy, where you spend your time. So, pay attention, because it is your greatest currency. Remember that. Pay attention. It is your greatest currency. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. So when you are in presence of the moment, you can subtly feel everywhere your energy is going, and you can propel it, you can emanate it, you can point it to that which you want to create with your intention behind it. So, for example, my intention is to call in beings of a higher consciousness to co-create an idea. So I hold that intention. My intention is to make like-minded brothers and sisters, other humans, friends that have a similar vision of co-creation that I do. I have that thought, I have that intention. I feel that emanate into my field. And then as I go about my day in presence, I watch, I notice, I observe the different people that I interact with, so that I can see when one of those beings is right in front of me, and I can make that point of contact, and we can come together and we can begin to create that which I've given my energy to birth it into the reality and watch it come into form in real time. So I hope that makes sense, because it's really pivotal part of our experience right now. To become conscious creators, we have to get ultra clear on where we are feeding our energy to. What are we feeding ourselves? What are we putting out into the world with our energy, with our voice, with our words, with our actions, with our breath, with our thoughts? So becoming super centered, almost in a place of neutrality from your center, and getting really intentional and feeling into the subtle ways that your energy is being put out there and that you're doing it intentionally, you know, not through ignorance. And all ignorance is not really paying attention. So becoming really clear and really loving, right? And as I speak all of this, it's like there's no judgment. It's really just coming into a really crystalline clear, sharp discernment. Discerning what it is that I'm creating in this reality and allowing that to be lovingly without judgment for what any other being chooses to create in their reality. We each are creating a perspective. And from what our perspective is, what our lens is, we each are creating realities, and the realities that match will be magnetized together. So we're really sharpening our sword of discernment, our sword of where we're pointing our energy, how we're pivoting through different realities right now. And the way we pivot and break patterns is the way that we're beginning to learn how to create, how to bring energy into form, and how to become the architects of the world that we are visioning through our eye, through our heart, through our solar plexus, through our root, and how we are birthing it in to this outer reality. So in other words, how energy is coming into form. And this is truly what we're learning to do as conscious creators in the moment. And it takes a tremendous amount of surrender and letting go of what's not working. And so we have to move through the emotional turmoil and pain that can also bring up so that we come to a place of equanimity, of inner kind of centeredness and balance, so that we can then move forward with a sense of stability, a sense of peace, a sense of neutrality and calmness, that equanimity. And so this is, for me, a big part of the massive transformation that's happening in the ascension process right now. And I thought I'd make this so that maybe can put words to some of your experiences right now. So until next time, thank you for joining me if you've made it this far. And if you have, it's an honor to walk this path with you, because the more people that are resonating and doing this work, the more that we are truly anchoring heaven on earth, that we are embodying our divinity, and that's no little feat. So a deep bow and truly honor you, love you. And please, if you feel called, leave me a comment down below on what your current experience is so that we can truly bring this community together and know that each one of us are supported. Thank you. I love you. Until next time. Aloha.